Hi, everybody. Celia Waterhouse here. Thank you for joining us at OnPoint Mentors. We have Shay Marville today here. Shay is the CEO of OurMindIsCalm.com, and she's a transformational wellness expert, an international yoga and meditation teacher, and a corporate wellness pioneer. Welcome, Shay.
Hello. Hi,
Hello.
everyone. It's so good to, it's good to be with you.
Well, I'm only going to ask you one question today.
Uh-oh.
Just one.
Yeah, just one question.
Okay, so if you could share one piece of advice on how you help your clients manage their emotions in this crazy, divisive world that we're in right now, what would that be?
What's the question again? Say it again. No, I'm kidding.
It's a big one. I know it's a big one.
It's not, boy, you're not starting small, are you?
No, I don't do anything small.
No. I ask people if they are willing to speak the truth about who they are. And when they speak the truth and they just start talking, first, they don't know who they are sometimes, right? They don't know how to talk about themselves. A lot of people do not know how to talk about themselves. And then there's the next step, which is a lot of people they feel like they have to be smaller than they need to be. So they don't always say what they really believe or what they're actually doing or what they aspire to, because they're afraid that someone's going to think they're too big for their bridges and that, they're being unrealistic. And then I ask people to speak their dreams, speak your truth and speak your dreams, and just monologue for a while. And out of that, we start to pull out the things that you care about, that have value and that have meaning. Caring, value, and meaning lead to something that in mindfulness we refer to as awareness. And the purpose of, mindfulness and meditation is that you're building this sense of knowing that's internal, that sometimes we push down and we push away. Awareness is this very large sensation in the body, and it cannot be seen, it can only be felt. And it's a knowing about what you care about and what has value. And I promise you, it's the one thing I would promise. I don't promise anything because everybody has their own process. But that understanding your, having a sense of your awareness, understanding what you care about, what you value, what is meaningful to you, those three things can really transform what you do tomorrow. Right. Because it immediately tells you what you care about and what is necessary and what is unnecessary. And for me personally, this pandemic process, and I'm calling it a process, has really helped me to become very clear about what I care about. And I had a tendency over 30 years, I've done a lot of things. I've had a very eclectic career. It's grown and expanded in ways I never even imagined. But I have a tendency sometimes to do too much. And this, I'd say one of the benefits of the pandemic for me has been to really pull that in, rein that in, and to really become clear about what I care about and what my mind, my heart, and my body truly care about, and tell the truth. And I share that with my clients and teams that I coach. Tell the truth, and you will be free. You don't have to tell others the truth all the time, but you have to tell yourself the truth.
Absolutely. And by telling the truth, by knowing who you are, by knowing where you're going, when you're on point, No pun
On
intended.
point, right? There's a reason for that. Yeah.
When you're on point, your emotions stay a little bit more stable.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you can accept your emotions, and
Right.
our emotions are our health. They're part of our health system. It's part of what keeps us safe. We get to know, where do I belong? What is valuable? Who cares about me? Where am I cared for? What do I care about? Our emotions tell us that. And they are indicators like driving, right? Indicators before you turn, before you go down a certain road. Your emotions show up and they say, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is a happy place, this is uncomfortable.
Right.
And often we're trained out of understanding the value of our emotions. So we often try to put them in a different room. We try to suppress them. And it's the suppression of our emotions that can become very destructive to us, because we can start to live away from who we truly are. We find ourselves in a space, in a place, in a geography where we find ourselves confused. How did I get here? Why am I here? What am I doing? Is this for money? Is this for love? Is this for someone else? Is this to demonstrate my value to someone else? Is this to prove something? And when we start to understand the answer to those questions, then we can start creating space for us to tell the truth to ourselves. I care about, moving. I care about loving people. I care about being in a relationship with others. I care about working in an office. I care about working from home. I want to look after my kids all the time. I want to spend less time in a certain area. I mean, we start to really get into the language of telling, of truth telling to ourselves.
Right.
And what's so important about that, especially right now, is that for so many of us, for so many years, and this is, kind of egged on by social media, is that we're living pretend lives. We're focused on, superficial things. And what that ends up doing is that sometimes we get so far away from what we truly care about. When a crisis happens, when something challenging hits us, we don't know how to face it, because we've been away from who we truly are for so very long. And that's why learning to tell the truth, not pretending in our quiet space, in our quiet, intimate moments with who we really are, allows us to see opportunity when it shows up, ask for help, share our skills, right, without fear. It helps us to build some integrity into what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. And integrity is really important. I think one of the things we don't talk about in terms of emotions is that emotions help us to become integrated people. Right?
Right.
So wherever we go, we show up truly as ourselves.
What's the most common emotion that you're seeing in your clients these days?
I think a lot of people are afraid right now, and very sad. I think grief is something that is very common, and grief is not necessarily about losing someone. I think a lot of people are grieving the loss of the life we used to have as a society. It's happened very quickly.
Right.
And there's grief about our work, grief about the people that we're used to seeing. There's grief about not being able to touch people,
Right.
the ones that we love. So, and because we are so uncomfortable with uncomfortable feelings, this is an especially difficult time. We want to look at faces that are always smiling, and now we can't see each other's lips, right? But there's a calling, I think, right now. I actually think that wearing a mask allows us to look in each other's eyes.
Good point.
and from a distance, actually, right? Like now I can't avoid looking at you. You know, you can't avoid looking at me. We have to look at each other to communicate. So I think there's actually opportunity to learn a new kind of communication right now, and to be in relationship with one another differently.
Yeah.
So even though we are experiencing a great deal of grief, and that has an impact, you know, one of the problems or the challenges with grief is what it does to us physically. It's exhausting, right? And so how do you reset? How do you create something new when you're exhausted,
Right.
when you're emotionally depleted?
Right.
So 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 we have to be able to offer ourselves grace and compassion, and then kind of allow truth and honest emotion to do its work. And it has natural work that's healing, right? That kind of lets me wake up to to this moment, that I can lose my job, I can lose a client,
Right.
I can lose somebody that has been deeply impactful in my life,
Right. Right.
and yet still find a way to continue forward because I'm alive, I'm here. And so the more we can be really in love with ourselves, all parts of ourselves, and embrace what we've lost in this pandemic, um, the more we can actually embrace actually creating something new, whether
Right.
that's new business, new partnerships, new collaborations, new job, new friendships, new ways of existing.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Shay. Always such a pleasure. Your words have such wisdom to it.
Oh, thank you. I'm
And-
so grateful.
but we're out of time right now, but
Of
I
course.
want to get you back on at some other
Yes.
time and talk about some of the big topics. Bigger, I don't know what's bigger than living in a divisive world and emotions, right?
Oh, I'd love to talk about that because I think we have so much in common. Oh my God, we have to learn how to have different opinions and still like exist with each other. Oh my
Well,
God.
let's have that conversation in another at another
And-
time.
Yes, of course.
I
Thank you
love
for the
it.
opportunity.
Thank you, Shay. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you, my friend. Be well.
You too.